As I was reading the FNaF character encyclopedia for yesterday's video, I also took note of all the mistakes in the book, because I wanted to make a video on whether or not this book has reliable information. In this video, I'll be going over all the mistakes and coming to a conclusion on whether or not these mistakes are egregious enough to deem the book unreliable, and for some mistakes I will combat the claim of them being a mistake, so strap in, because regarding mistakes in the FNaF character encyclopedia, here's what I found. Number 1. Most mistakes in this book are in the animatronic appearances section. The first is on Freddy's page, as he is listed as appearing in Out of Stock, Blackbird, Kids at Play, and He Told Me Everything, despite the fact that in those stories he is merely mentioned and doesn't actually appear. Number 2. Golden Freddy is listed as appearing in multiple places, including Sister Location, which I talked about in yesterday's video, as that's pretty interesting, but what's weird is that Golden Freddy appears in all 3 novel trilogy books as well as The New Kid, but those are not listed under his appearances. Number 3. Nightmare Freddy is listed as appearing in FNaF AR, despite not appearing in the game. He's not the only one to fall victim to this though, as Lefty is a character people have been waiting to be added to FNaF AR, but after years he's still not in the game. However, this book claims him to be in FNaF AR as well, which is wrong. There's a bunch more characters who are also listed in AR who are not in AR, including Nightmare Bonnie, Nightmare Chica, Nightmare Foxy, Funtime Foxy, Nightmare Yan, Endo02, and Montgomery Gator. Number 4. Blacklight Freddy is listed as appearing in FNaF AR when he does not. The page actually talks about him appearing in FNaF AR but describes his appearance in FNaF VR, meaning it is a mistake. Number 5. Freddy Frostbear's page claims that he is the first skin added to FNaF AR. However, Freddy Frostbear isn't actually a skin. In fact, he even has his own skin, who is even talked about on the very next page of the book. This book also claims characters to appear in stories when that appearance is very vague. For example, Sarah has a Freddy Fazbear plushie in To Be Beautiful, and that somehow constitutes Freddy being listed as appearing in To Be Beautiful. However, Freddy Frostbear appears in the arcades in Security Breach, but is not listed as appearing in Security Breach, and is only listed as appearing in FNaF AR. The same actually happens with Frostbite Balloon Boy, Frost Plush Trap, Clown Springtrap, and Chocolate Bonnie. Number 6. Bon Bon is listed as appearing in FNaF 3, when she does not. Everywhere else in the book, the appearances are also in order of release, but FNaF 3 on Bon Bon's page is listed after FNaF 6, seeming to indicate that this is a typo. Number 7. Bonnet is claimed to be the first version of Bonnie in the series to be female. However, on the page literally right before this one, Bon Bon is discussed, and Bon Bon is referred to as a girl in this book. Bonnet didn't appear in Sister Location until Custom Night, meaning if Bon Bon is a girl, then she was the first female Bonnie in the series, and not Bonnet. Number 8. The page for Sea Bonnie summarizes the story quite inaccurately. First of all, it claims Rory bought the Sea Bonnies as a part of his plan to get revenge on Mott, which simply just isn't true. Second, Fritz the goldfish is referred to as Mott's pet goldfish when it's actually Rory's, and it's also said that Mott accidentally swallowed a Sea Bonnie in the process of flushing them, when in reality he drank one by accident in the middle of the night. Number 9. On Jacko Chica's page, it's talked about how Jacko Chica actually speaks, unlike Nightmare Chica, but it also claims that we can hear a lot of her voice in Ultimate Custom Night, then mentions how she makes fire and Halloween themed jokes. However, the examples it gives are actually from FNaF AR, not Ultimate Custom Night, and the way that it's written implies that it is from Ultimate Custom Night, so it seems to be like a small mistake. Number 10. As I said, almost all of the mistakes in this book just come from the animatronic appearances section, and a lot of these mistakes are shared with others. Some for FNaF AR, as I talked about before, but also some for Ultimate Custom Night, including characters like Funtime Freddy and Nightmare Foxy who are listed as appearing in Ultimate Custom Night, but they do not. Number 11. The puppet appears in the 7th Fazbear Frights epilogue, however on the puppet's page, she is not listed as appearing in the Stitch Ray Stingers. What makes this even weirder is that Charlie is listed as appearing in the Stingers despite her appearance in the Stingers being as the puppet itself. Number 12. On Nightmare Fredbear's page, the crying child is referred to as the protagonist of FNaF 4. On Nightmare Balloon Boy's page, it said that BB and the other animatronics terrorized the bite victim in FNaF 4, and on the crying child's page, he is said to be the one tormented by the nightmares there too. The issue with this stems from the fact that Michael Afton is actually the one who is the player of FNaF 4, which is confirmed by the fact that Mike draws Nightmare Fredbear in the logbook, as well as the fact that the FNaF 1 phone call appears in FNaF 4, and Scott claimed that there are no random Easter eggs in that game, and he said this in response to everyone failing to solve FNaF 4. lore. This means that the player of FNAF 4 and 1 are the same person, so it's basically Scott's word itself that confirms Mike is the FNAF 4 player, and some other stuff confirms that too. So the fact that the character Encyclopedia calls the crying child the protagonist and the one being tormented by the nightmares is incorrect. However, there is actually an explanation for this, and I'll talk about that towards the end of the video. Number 13. On the page for Lucky Boy, the art for the character shows the sign saying, "It's your lucky day," and the page itself claims that that's what the sign says. However, in Sergio's Lucky Day, Lucky Boy's sign actually says, "I'm a lucky boy." However, there is an explanation for this as well that I will explain later. Number 14. On the page for Endo 01, there is actually an image of Endo 02 alongside the ones of the original. This is especially weird since the very next page is Endo 02, so I don't really know how this was messed up. Number 15. Springtrap is claimed to appear in all 3 of the novel trilogy books. However, he doesn't actually appear as Springtrap himself in the Silver Eyes or the Fourth Closet, as he's still only Afton in the Spring Bonnie suit in the Silver Eyes and has gotten rid of the suit in the Fourth Closet. He only actually appears as Springtrap in the Twisted ones. Springtrap is also listed as appearing in the Flesh and the Stitch Ray Stingers. However, Springtrap doesn't actually appear in the Stitch Ray Stingers, but he does in What We Found, which is not listed. Number 16. Similarly, Plushtrap is listed as appearing in Out of Stock, but not the Stitch Ray Stingers, which is odd considering the Plushtrap Chaser did appear in the Stitch Ray Stingers in Epilogue 10, when Larson is cycling through the memories. Number 17. 8-Bit Baby originated from the Circus Baby minigames of Sister Location and reappeared in FNAF AR, with the only difference now being green eyes rather than blue ones as they were in Sister Location. However, the character Encyclopedia treats that minigame as if it doesn't exist, and does not list Sister Location as an appearance of 8-Bit Baby. Number 18. Ballora is listed as appearing in Dance With Me, which is correct. However, what's odd is that her brief appearance in Room for One More is not mentioned. She appears during a dream sequence. Funtime Foxy's appearance in Room for One More is also not listed, but Funtime Freddy's is, so it's not like they forgot about those dream sequences or anything. Number 19. The character Encyclopedia says that it's okay that Pan Stan is excluded from Ultimate Custom Night since he is the boring one. This is absolutely the most egregiously inaccurate thing that this book says, hands down. How dare they say that about the Giga Chad based Pan Stan, my boy. Number 12. Old Man Consequences is mentioned to have appeared in FNAF World. However, FNAF World isn't actually listed alongside Ultimate Custom Night in his appearances. This is strange because it's not like this book completely excluded FNAF World. It's mentioned on multiple occasions, including this very page, and it is listed under Dee Dee's appearances, so it's weird that it isn't for Old Man Consequences. Number 21. Twisted Wolf is mentioned as appearing in FNAF 6 and Ultimate Custom Night. Since he himself doesn't appear there, it's clear the book is referring to the posters of him seen in those games. However, this poster also appears in Help Wanted's Curse of Dreadbear DLC, and Help Wanted is not listed under the Twisted Wolf's appearances. Number 22. FNAF World's story revolves around the Crying Child, with the puppet and our player setting up Happiest Day for the Crying Child to put the pieces together. In the clock ending, we actually see the Crying Child as a trophy. He appears in FNAF World. FNAF World, telling us the bite victim is the one to put up the pieces of Happiest Day together, tells us that he has to be present in FNAF 3, and this book implies him to be the Happiest Day kid. This makes it troublesome that the Crying Child is only listed as appearing in FNAF 4, despite the fact that we know for a fact he appears in FNAF 3 and World at the very least. Number 23. On the Charlotte page, Charlotte is referred to as a human. You may say that this is just regarding her game counterpart, but all her appearances in the novels are listed, and in those novels she died and was built as a robot. The images on the page show Charlie from the books, and at the end of the page it's claimed that in the novel trilogy Charlie survived childhood. More than anything, this seems to be avoiding spoilers for some reason, but since it calls the robot Charlie a human, we can't really use this book to say that Gregory is not a robot, which I believe he is. And the thing about it is that if Gregory was to be a robot, I don't think that this book would just say that he is, let's be honest. Why would this book just spoil that when it hasn't been revealed definitively yet? It's been heavily implied, but it hasn't yet been confirmed, so this book confirming it would be stupid. But the point is that Charlie is said to be human, when in the books she is a robot. And the book is referring to all of her appearances, meaning it's a general statement, and it's trying to say that in the books she's a human, so if it says that Charlie's a human, then it's saying Gregory is a human doesn't really mean anything. So what about all the other stuff though? As I said multiple times, almost all of the mistakes in this book have to do with the animatronic appearances section. However, some of them are understandable, specifically the ones that were claimed to be in AR. The reason is pretty simple. They were originally supposed to be in FNAF AR. All the Nightmares, Endo 02, and Lefty were all in the FNAF AR files, planned to be released in the game in the future, and in an interview, the CEO of Illumix said that the Glamrocks were planned for the game, which is why Monty is claimed to be in AR. It was the original intention. Almost all of the other ones are really minimalistic. The Lucky Boy thing actually might just be a mistake regarding the art itself, which was made for the Ultimate Guide and was just reused here, so it could be that the writers probably just made a mistake because of the actual art being on the page. But none of these mistakes actually have to do with getting huge lore wrong, except for one, the crying child being the protagonist of FNaF 4, but like I said, there is an explanation for that. In Sister Location, we see that the locations from FNaF 4 are real, but more importantly, there are gray dots marking where the animatronics should be, and there are dots for each of the nightmares. This confirms that the nightmare animatronics are actually real, and in the art for the bite victim, we see that he has bags under his eyes, seeming to indicate he hasn't slept for days. This means that he was tormented by the nightmare animatronics, but not as nightmares. They were real, and they were keeping him up all night. The nightmare animatronics are animatronics or possibly the bite victim's plushies with illusion discs, just creating the illusion of movement. The illusions were Afton's experiments and tested them out on the bite victim. Nightmare Fredbear in Ultimate Custom Night even says,
"This time, there is more than an illusion to fear."
And when he is on the bed or in the closet in FNaF 4, he makes a high-pitched buzzing sound, like the illusion discs do. The crying child did go through the nightmare experiences, but what we play in FNaF 4 is the crying child forcing Michael into his position. It's putting Michael in the bite victim's shoes, meaning we're playing as Michael playing as the crying child. It seems to be a form of torture, like revenge on Michael for killing the bite victim, and honestly, it's kinda fair, I get it. Therefore, this book claiming that the crying child is the protagonist of FNaF 4 is technically correct, but I think the one real egregious problem with this book is the absence of a page for Michael Afton himself. But honestly, I don't think that was a mistake. Michael is the main character of the series, and this book was really in-depth. It went over some of the most random characters, like the masks from Sister Location and the Shadow, Balloon Boy, and Puppet characters from FNaF 3 minigames. If this book is that in-depth, then there's no way that they forgot Michael. It seems more likely that they intentionally left him out. Why? I don't know, but that's what it seems like. So now for the ultimate question. Can we trust this book? I'd say that we can. I feel that the mistakes in this book are all pretty minimalistic, and the book doesn't actively get the lore wrong, except in the case of Charlie being a human, which is probably meant to elude spoilers. But I do think that because there are mistakes in this book, that it shouldn't be used for the basis of any theories. But if a theory already has evidence, then I think it's perfectly safe to use it as further evidence, or even confirmation if it's that obvious in this book, or if it's implied in this book and is made clear elsewhere. The book did have to be approved by Scott, so if something was wrong to the point where it literally lied to you about the story, he would not have accepted that, although you could argue that about the Ultimate Guide too, but this book has way less mistakes than the Ultimate Guide, and I just think that this book is way more reliable than that book. And want to know why I don't think that the Ultimate Guide is reliable? Well, check out my video on it. But anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to. But I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about the FNaF character Encyclopedia? Do you think it's a good book overall? Do you think its information is reliable? Let me know in the comments, and I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys!